appreciate it's a big weekend for you, but for a captain who's spoken so well about inclusion and diversity over the years, just wondered what you've made from afar of how the Azeem Rafiq case has developed this week and how the ECB have subsequently stepped in.
Good morning. I'm here first and foremost for probably more so the last 2 to 3 years. Our culture has been built around inclusivity and diversity, and it's actually been quite a strong part of our game. And for that period of time in particular, we've been active about talking and actioning things that show meaningful change, and we're very serious about it. And we firmly believe that there is no place in our sport for any type of discrimination. And I think the actions of ECB board to Yorkshire have indicated how serious they are about dealing with issues like this, and obviously resulting in their actions, because obviously actions speak louder than words. They have been taken in a serious manner. Now, from our point of view as a team, we can only do so much in role modeling what we believe is right, because yes, we talk about it, but equally we want to do things that make a difference. And I believe that we've made huge strides forward as a group in doing that in various parts of our game. And we've found things that are not only pushing things forward or taking the cap forward, but also feel very authentic to individuals and where they've come from and the journeys that they've been on.
When you speak about meaningful change, and obviously you've been very consistent in taking the knee before games, you've obviously worn T-shirts before matches in England, would that feel not futile, but less significant had those above you not stepped in as well in something like this?
There's only so much that we can do as a team. I think, having had a lot of chats with the team or being a part of the significant change that we feel will lead to something that will be bigger than any of our careers or any trophies that we win. I think we're doing at the moment to try and achieve. It's not perfect, but we're making good ground towards change that we want implemented. So outside of that, we're actually limited to what we can achieve. But I think continuing to give that strong message in, particularly our moment of unity and any opportunity to speak to you guys and I suppose be ourselves ultimately. I think in teams you have to be able to be yourself. It should feel a little bit like being at home. Obviously, it won't feel like being at home, but being around your family, it should be, I suppose, relaxed and given that freedom to be able to feel comfortable in your own skin.
And from the individual's perspective, do you support moves of not allowing players to play for England if they're found to be involved in things like this? As Gary Balance, as I know he's not someone necessarily you would have selected in the near future, but if other players nearer to your group did the same thing or allegedly did the same thing, you'd support that?
Here, I think the decision that was taken at the start of last summer in a similar instance with Ollie Robinson is consistent with the board's decision with Gary Balance. I haven't thought deeply about it. Obviously, the actions that the players have taken are ones that they've said they've done. So obviously, there's cloudy water there if there are allegations as opposed to things that have actually happened.
Just a final one for me, thanks. I know there'll be a lot of other people wanting to ask you questions. I guess from your perspective and as a captain, we've heard a lot about how dressing rooms are, but if anything of this nature was to happen within your dressing room, it'd be something you would step in with immediately, I guess.
I think the responsibility within our changing room falls on every player. I think we're always asked, why aren't we doing things that are seen to be, what everybody else is doing. And the answer within that is that it has to feel authentic to the group, because if something happens within the group and people don't feel like they have a share in it, they won't act on it. And within our group at the moment, I feel confident enough that guys would act individually and they wouldn't respond or feel like one of the senior players, the coach, has to step in an instance that I think you're alluding to.
Thanks, Eoin.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Rob. We'll go to David Charlesworth, please.
Hi, Eoin. Just a couple on the tournament itself, I suppose. 4 wins from 4, but you've lost Tamal Mills for the rest of the tournament. Just how much of a blow is that? And with David and Reece in the squad now, could it be a like-for-like switch tomorrow?
Yeah, here I'm gutted for Tamal. He's been on such a roller coaster of a journey, and I think that this is probably the highest point he's been at on that roller coaster, through terrible injury and I suppose incredible attitude and resilience that he's shown to come back from each and every one of them, to take his career to contributing to us hopefully getting through to the latter stages of a World Cup is an incredible achievement. So for it to come at this time in his career, I'm devastated for him. As regards replacements, I think we'll take another 24 hours to have a look at guys coming through. Obviously, Tom Curran, Mark Wood, Dave Willey, and Reece become options. David has been in consideration now for every game that we've played, but we've chosen to go with an all-rounder instead of 4 seniors. So we'll turn up to Sharjah tomorrow and hopefully make a good call for the team.
Mm-hmm. That knock in Sharjah you had the other day, does it feel like it might have loosened you up a bit? I know you said afterwards that you never really felt in, but it was clearly important in the context of the game. So does it give you, pump up your tyres a little bit ahead of tomorrow?
Here, I think it gives me confidence that I've still got the drive that I feel that I have to win a game for us, no matter the situation. I certainly don't think it's a wicket where you can take a lot of confidence away from, batting quite a period of time on it. I don't think many of the guys felt in, regardless of how they batted. But certainly, being in that fight for tomorrow's game is going to be extremely important if the wicket stays the same.
Lovely. Thanks. All the best.
Thanks, David. Let's go to Dean Wilson, please.
Yeah. Hi, morning, Eoin. Sorry to kind of go back to the original topic, but while there's a lot of players in your squad who'll be keeping an eye on what's been going on at Yorkshire, you've obviously got a few guys who've got direct kind of connections, involvement there as players at the club, and in particular, I guess Adil Rashid is really kind of involved directly with some of the allegations that have been made and denied. I mean, how are you looking after him, and how this may or may not be affecting him, knowing that at some point, I guess he really is going to be kind of dragged into the heart of this?
Yeah, here, Adil is one of our players that, on a normal scheme of things, doesn't require a lot of support. I think, given what's happened so close to home for him, I think it's great that he does have a great support network around him. The team is here, his family are here, which is fantastic. But there's no indication at the moment that anything out of the ordinary is happening. Obviously, being away in a different country obviously detaches you slightly from things as opposed to being at home. But certainly he's a guy that has obviously been very close with Azim Rafiq growing up at Yorkshire. But he's travelling okay at the moment.
You're not worried that it might have any impact on his performance in the upcoming games, considering how well he's going at the moment, bowling pretty nicely?
No, not concerned at all.
And just on the cricket, how disappointed argue that I guess something so fantastic as 4 wins from 4 and a chance to win a World Cup is being kind of overshadowed by things I know out of your control. But I guess cricket's on the front and back pages for the wrong reason, rather than your performances.
Yeah, here, to be honest, I think if there matters that of an extreme or serious nature like these are, they need to be met head on. And for us as a team, that's exactly what we want to see. Obviously, the investigation is ongoing and live at the moment, so only time will tell what happens. But I think the actions by the board have demonstrated how seriously the ECB are taking how this has been handled. So, yes, we want to see the sport in a great light, but equally, if there is an issue as serious as this, we want it dealt with as well.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Dean. Let's go to Will Macpherson, please.
Hi, Owen. You mentioned Mark Wood as one of your seam bowling options. Can you just confirm that he's kind of come through everything he needs to have done and is available for the game?
Yeah, I can't confirm that yet. We're going to go through another training session this evening. It's not till 6 o'clock, so it'll be quite late. We'll probably see how everybody pulls up again tomorrow to make a decision. Obviously, when you have quick bowlers at your disposal, you really want them to be firing. And I think when it comes to managing them, you also need to be patient. Obviously, with time out, missing out, you're constantly reminded that they're such huge assets for us that need to be well looked after. And we've done that with Mark Wood throughout his whole career within this group, and we'll take time if needed to make the call tomorrow.
When you look at T20 cricket at the moment and this tournament, these conditions, is a sort of proper express pace bowler something you feel you need to have in your attack?
That's a good question. I think if you look at teams around the tournament, they've sort of all done it a little bit differently, depending on the grounds that they've played at. And certainly for us as a group, we've always had a guy who's within the bowling unit who's either giving you a left arm option or a 90-mile-an-hour option. It's been great to have both recently, but certainly we need to figure out which is going to be more effective, both at Sharjah and then if we progress either at Abu Dhabi or Dubai.
I suppose that makes Tamal a very big loss because he's offering both.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, he's been great. I can't talk highly enough of him. He's such a humble guy who is really hurt by the news of his scan.
Cheers, Will. We're going to take 3 more. We've got Zahir from South Africa, Simon Burton from The Guardian, and then we'll finish with Shubhan Madam. So let's go to Zahir first, please.
Hi, Owen. South African cricket has gone through its own troubles regarding racial injustices over the last while, and they're currently undergoing a social nation building hearings at the moment. Do you think English cricket would need something like that to basically get to the roots of all the problems that have gone on in the past?
Sorry, they're going through a social
nation justice building hearings, basically where players have expressed their trauma over the years.
To be honest, it's not something I thought of. It's obviously very relevant for the country that it's happening in. I think for us, we're seeing a number of different diverse cultures come through and tell their stories at a time when it's more relevant and actually a time where people are wanting to make change. So I can't really talk any more about it because I don't know any more about South Africa's position.
And Owen, you've played South Africa quite a few times over the last couple of years. Just the way they've gone at this World Cup, do you think Have you seen any improvement in where they were maybe 12 months ago?
Yeah, I think they're a dangerous side. I think when you look at them from a squad point of view, they have, I suppose, everything at their disposal that you need at a World Cup like this, where wickets are potentially getting slower and lower throughout the tournament. So it's a matter of finding, I suppose, what works for them given conditions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zahir. Let's go to Simon Burton, please.
Hi, Owen. So your 4 wins in the group so far have, I guess, allowed you to approach the last game in a slightly different frame of mind, potentially. It's the last game in the group. You'll know exactly what you need to do. Do you think there will be any change in mindset going into this game because of that at all?
No, not at all. We're coming into the game wanting to win, and given some of the situations we've been through in the past, we know how difficult it is to win a World Cup game itself without adding different permutations throughout the course of that. So we've watched teams throughout this World Cup not even being in the contest at some stages. So we know how difficult it is to get in that contest and then to try and go and do what your team needs to try and win the game.
I guess you've had, in the tournament so far, you've had a few games where you've made winning look quite easy. And then on your last visit to Sharjah, you had to battle a bit. Was there a difference just in the atmosphere in the dressing room after those wins? Is there a difference between winning easy and winning hard?
I think the difference within the group is just reflects the closer that we get to maybe qualifying and the opportunity that lies ahead. I'm a firm believer that in group stage is, it's so easy to get things wrong because every team has to fight tooth and nail to get through from there. And then when or if you do get through, there's a lot of a release of any pressure that's been applied by yourself or anybody outside of the group. So I think our win at Sharjah was as tough a win as we've ever had as a T20 group. So the satisfaction within that was as significant as winning against Australia, which is a huge game for us in Dubai.
Thanks, Owen.
Thanks, Simon. And the last one from Shubham. Go ahead, Shubham.
Yeah, hi, Captain Morgan. So actually, I want to compliment the English side that cricket have once in a decade a side which everyone is looking for. In the particular this decade, England is a one side which every fan and every individual look at for, especially in the limited over cricket. So, do you also take a pride to lead this particular English side who have a commendable success rate as compared to the previous English sides?
Yeah, I take huge pride in leading this team. One of the things that makes me extremely proud is that regardless of how well we've done or how poorly we've done, guys have always wanted to get better. They're not really that interested in standing still or spending too much time reflecting on what has been and gone. They want to continue to get better because they know that once you lose that drive in trying to achieve things individually as a team, it has a big repercussion effect on the wider game throughout our country.